Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Here we are again. My name's Jana, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have a really fun card today to share with you. And the biggest focus is on this set here called Impressions of Bloom. You can purchase this as a bundle and save 10%. The link to my shopping site is in the description box if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And if you see anything that I'm using today that you might like to add to your stash. So this is a photopolymer stamp set. That's what it looks like there, minus the dog hair. Okay, so using that, this is the die set, which is really fun because it's got this big border. I haven't used that yet, but it's got the outline one that cuts the main chunk of that tag or whatever you want to call it. You could use it as a tag, as a, oh, I can't think of not the message. Anyway, this piece. And then you also get this one that creates a frame. So you could make a shaker card because it cuts the outside and the inside, and it gives you the little dotted stitch marks in between. So this die is also fun because it creates the embossed sort of cutout lines, and I'll show you that in a minute, on the inside part of your flowers. So you can choose to use that piece or not. The outside piece will cut out the flower shapes. And then you get extras like these leaves and stems and this flower set here. And then there's a large middle and a small middle that does these here. Okay, so let's get going. I did do a lot of prep ahead of time, otherwise we would have been here for hours because there's a lot of stuff going on with this card. We'll start with the watercoloring. So I've got a piece of watercolor paper here, and I'm using the more smooth side, and this is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And I am going to start with Darling Duckling. This is one of the new in colors. And I'm just going to swipe some. That's probably plenty on my glass mat here. And let me grab a wet towel also before we get going. Okay, oopsie. So I just have a water brush that I'm using today. And so I'm just going to add some water to this color, and I'm going to start in the middle of my card. I made one of these ahead of time, as I always do, and so that always kind of helps me learn what I might need to change. So I'm just going to start up here. And I'm going to paint down a little further than I did in my original card. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Watercoloring has always intimidated me. I'm not sure why, because some people make it look so easy. Okay, so I've got my little paper towel over here to clean my brush. And then what I forgot to pull out was my 3 little white pieces. I don't want to dump everything out because I'm afraid I will lose stuff. Okay, let's take this part out. and see if I can find what I'm looking for. All right, so I've got these 3 little white pieces here, and before I clean up my stuff, I'm going to scoop some of this color up. And I probably didn't need to clean my brush off yet because I'm going to go ahead and add some more to it. Okay, so we'll set that up there to dry. Clean this up. And okay, so the next color I'm gonna use is Strawberry Slush. I love this color, it's so pretty. And how are we doing with the yellow scrolly line? I'm hoping, I can't tell. I'm hoping that the yellow scrolly line isn't happening. Okay, so let me do the same thing with this. That's plenty. Yeah, I love this Strawberry Slush. It's like in between sort of pink and red. And I'm going to do the same thing. I saw this card idea somewhere online. I don't know if it was Pinterest, if it was maybe a Stampin' Up thing on Facebook. I don't know. So I can't give thanks to the person who made it, but if that person is watching and knows that you made a card something similar to this, thank you so much for sharing your idea. My card is not the same as what they did. I mean, the idea is the same. But what they did was instead of actually really using the stamp set, they used the designer paper, which I will show you in a minute. Oh, there I go, cleaning my brush off again before I did this part. Yep, I'm going to have to use my brush because it's not getting all the way where I want to use it. I mean, where I want the color. Okay, that's good. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, I don't know. Watercolor has always intimidated me. Okay, so now the next color I'm doing is Highland Heather. Which is a really pretty lavender. If I told you how long it took me to prepare all this stuff to make this card and the one that I made yesterday, so 2 cards, it might scare you away from trying it, and I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to tell you. because all of that is also part of figuring out what I want to do and designing the whole thing and just all the prep. If you were just going to make the card, it wouldn't have taken you, you know, all that time, I'm sure. But I have to think about everything and decide what colors and all that stuff. You know how it is. Okay, so we are done with the watercoloring portion of this video, which was really super simple. Okay, so that is done. I can set that aside, and it's pretty much dry, but I will set it aside and let it finish doing its thing. And then, what do I want to do next? I'm going to have to dump all of this out. Like I said, I did a whole bunch of stuff ahead of time. There's some really eensy-weensy little tiny flowers in here, so I think I've dumped them all out. So probably the easiest thing is for me to separate this stuff. So I've got leaves that I cut. Ooh, you may have noticed these paint brushes. And I will show you where those came from. So those come from the Trusty Tools stamp and die set. Here is the die set, tons of dies. So that's where I got the paintbrushes. And let me, after I separate these out, I will show you, I mentioned the paper. I'm going to show it to you because it's absolutely beautiful. And then I will explain why I chose to go with stamping and die cutting rather than what the other gal did, okay? I'll just get these things all separated out here. There's those extra little flowers that are in the die set. They're really cute. And I've got more leaves here. And all of these tiny little white flowers, which I want to turn over to the right side. Here's the size of the other ones of those flowers. And these are all middles. Okay, don't fall asleep on me now, like I do when I'm watching videos. Then I have to go back and watch them again. Okay, let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. It's all here. All right, now let me try to show you the paper without messing everything up. This is the most gorgeousness paper here, and it is called Floral Impressions. And then the stamp set is Impressions A Bloom, so kind of similar. I will scoot the plastic down here so I can just flip through it a little bit. This paper is so pretty. I don't want to mess up all my work I did there on my mat. So really gorgeous papers. Okay, and then it's back to those. So the person that made the card that I fell in love with here to do this one, fussy cut flowers out of this paper. Okay, I'm not, you guys know I'm not a fussy cutter, although I've been doing a whole lot of it. But the intricate kind of fussy cutting that you have to do to get in between these petals and stuff, no. not happening. I thought, nope, I'm gonna let the stamps and dies do their thing, and we are gonna go with that. All right, so let me get my little things here. And I need my tweezers. And I need pecan pie ink. Oh, the pegboard on the tool set, yes. Rosalinda, hello. Okay, so I need this one. And so I cut my flower middles out of Daffodil Delight. I think that was a yellow. Let me double check here. Nope, liar, liar, pants on fire. I cut them out of Lemon Lolly. It's a little bit lighter because I want that hint of yellow, but I want the middles really mostly brown, just because that's how I want my middles. Okay, so there's that one. I didn't want to do all of the work completely ahead of time because what fun would that have been? And of course, my hands are choosing to be shaky right now, so sorry about that. Some days I'm shaky and some days I'm not. Usually if I haven't had enough sleep or I'm stressed out about something, that's when I will notice my head shaking, which is really embarrassing, but it is what it is. My doctor said it's a benign tremor. But if I'm rested and I'm not stressed out about anything, I don't notice it so much. It might still be there, I'm not sure, but there's times when I definitely can feel my head shaking, the hand shaking. I don't know, that's probably my blood sugar. I just ate my lunch, so that's probably what that is. So enough about that garbage. Anyway, it's not because I'm nervous, because I'm not feeling nervous. It's just my weirdness. Okay. I think I get it from my grandma because as I remember, my grandma's head shook too on my mom's side. I know I have my grandma's arms for sure. And I do something else that my grandma used to do. And I find the older I get, the more I do it when I sit. And it was something I always noticed only that she did. She always rolled her thumbs like this, and now I do that. We are products of our environment, right? Okay, so I don't think I need this color anymore. All right, next, let's do these cute pink ones. This color is Pretty in Pink right here. And here's my dauber for that. Come back here. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edges of these, give them a little bit of personality. I can see already that I pulled out the wrong color for my other flower. I pulled out Highland Heather, and that's not what I cut my flower with. I cut my flower with Misty Moonlight. So let me grab that color of Dauber. If I can find it. Ooh, here it is. Look at that. I found it right off the bat in my little thing. I label them all because otherwise I would never know what color was what. Have you ever heard the song In the Misty Moonlight? Old time song. I don't remember who sang it, but I remember the song. Okay, so those all have a bit more personality there. That takes care of that. And now I'm going to give these little white flowers a little center, and I'm using my dark peach pie Stampin' Up blends. Stampin' Up has these blends markers which are alcohol based, and then they have the Stampin' Write markers which are the regular, I guess, water-based markers, dye-based, dye ink. So it's all in what you like to use. The dye-based ones, I like those if I'm coloring directly to my stamps. That technique does not work with the alcohol markers. So if you have solid, like the solid rubber stamps, and you want to color directly on your stamps and then stamp with them, you need to use the dye-based markers. Okay, there is that. I think we're getting there. So let me just glue my middles onto these flowers. And I think I can do it fast enough that I can put the glue on and then stick the middles on really quickly. And let's bring the big one over here and do that for that one. Oh, I was going to show you the, yeah. Let me get the middle stuck on, and then I will show you, in case it's not coming across, I will hold them closer to the camera so you can see that kind of embossed cut design that the inside die does. It does it to the little middles too. It cuts polka dots, little dots in them. Okay, there's that. See on the back side, you can see the lines there. So it actually cuts through the paper, the embossing. It's the middle dies here that do that. They don't cut anything around the edge. They just cut the lines in. And there's ones for the leaves also. This leaf, these are like extra dies. So this die will cut the leaf that's in the stamp set out. And these are extra ones. And they cut the lines in those leaves, same as that. But yeah, so it's just kind of a fun element that you can choose to use or not. Okay, so those are ready. Let me bring this in, and these stems. These are for these fun little flowers here. Okay, so let me get my glue back. And we will dab some, let's see, that's not what I wanted to do, so let me wipe that back off. I choose to put the little green part on the top because I think that looks like how it's supposed to go. Okay, so we need, this one can go on there and up here, and this one can go on there. And those are ready. I picked these flowers just for you. Okay, so now our little paint brushes. Jana, what are you doing? You're cutting off the bristles. I know. Because remember these? These are going on. Y'all are probably having miserably hot weather, but not here where I live. I don't feel like we've really had summer because you know why? Inland, the cities are having really hot weather like most of you, and so it draws in the fog here where I live and just makes white sky. So the fog's not down low, but it's up high and just makes this white sky, and it just doesn't feel like summer. Okay, so now what I am gonna do is put some glue along the top here, like so. And oopsie, put this paintbrush back together. We don't need to have crooked bristles. Okay, there's that one. This card turns out so pretty, you guys. You're gonna want to make one. And you can use any flower set that you might have, because it would certainly work with that, except for you don't want, well, if you were making a bigger card, it wouldn't matter. I was going to say you don't want real big flower stamps. Okay, so what is the next step? Let's bring this back and let me go ahead and let's see here. What do I want to do? I'm going to go ahead. This is my card base. So I did the strawberry slush for the card base. And my card I did yesterday, I did with Highland Heather so that I would have two different ones. And, oh, here it is. I've got white to go inside. Okay, you guys, I need to take a quick break. I'm so sorry. So we're just going to pause for a couple of minutes and instead of me having to stop and restart. So that will give you a chance to step away and get something to drink. And I will be right back. Hang on. One moment, please. I'm back. I'm back. My apologies for that. Okay. So where were we? Here we are. I got the inside in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put on this layer of Darling Duckling. And it's just to give a little peak of extra color when we put our front layer on there. So there is that. That's all ready. Okay. Let's bring this back in. So I'm going to start with this leaf here. Oopsie. probably what I should do before I go any further with this is put my sentiment on the front. And I want to use this Hello Friend. It comes from the Storybook Friends stamp set. So let me find it. Here it is. I love this. I love the mix of fonts, and because it's got cursive, and then the word friend is just in print. Let me see if I can do this. So I don't want to lose everything up there. So you might not be able to see this happen because I'm down too far. You'll see it in a minute when I get it done. So just know that I'm going to stamp Hello Friend. I'm going to ink it up with my Memento Tuxedo Black. I know you can't see it. There it is, and I'm only going to do it once because I don't think it needs more than that. And let me put it back where it goes so I don't lose it. Okay, there we go. And on the inside here, I want to put where did it go? Oh, it's in this set. The Year of Flowers. This is such a sweet set. And I love the fonts in here too. I'm going to put Sending You a Floral Hug. I just think that's perfect for this card. Sending You a Floral Hug. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. And I'm just going to stamp that, I think. And hope for the best. Fingers crossed. Yay. Okay. Sending You a Floral Hug. And then I will add a little something something in there before we're all done. All right. Back to this. Okay, I'm going to start with this big daisy, I think it is. I think it's a daisy. And I'm just going to add a little glue and okay, I'll put it right about there. And then the little orange ones. I stamped these actually with Timid Tiger, which is also a new in color. This one was Darling Duckling. And I'm going to put that one there. This one I'm going to pop up. What did I do with my dimensionals? Here they are. And then, well, I will come back with the little tiny flowers and we'll scatter those around after. Okay, so let's do the strawberry slush ones. And I think I will just stick the flowers on and then I will come in with the leaves. So I'm going to put one down here, and actually I need to put this, I need to bring this in. So can I tuck it under there? Okay, so let me cut this off. Okay, so I'm going to just put a little dab of glue down there and on the backs of these. And we'll tuck this one under like that, like that. And then put one under there. And do I want to do another one? I think I'm going to save this one. I'm going to set that aside, but let me grab some leaves. We're arranging flowers here, people. That is what we are doing. So we'll put a leaf there. And one up there. Put one behind here. Okay. And now let's do these. All right. We've got this one, so I need to cut this stem off. I think I'll angle it like that. All right, and let's pop one here. And let me see, let me put a leaf in here. Do I want to put it here? Or do I want to go down further? Okay, I like that. And then put another one here. Come on now. I have found that you, on this watercolor paper, you kind of have to use a dab bit more glue for some reason. Maybe it just soaks it up so fast because of being watercolor. Okay, and then, yeah. I'm going to scooch that under there. And maybe I will pop that one up. pop that one up right there. Okay, now let's fill in with the little white ones. And I know I want, we'll put one there and I think a couple down here. I think I'm going to need more glue than that. I'll just pop it on the back of here. And now for this one, we'll do one over here and we will do a couple scattered down there. It's like, these are like the embellishments. They just really add so much to the whole thing. And let's see, maybe we'll do one here and two up here. What I like about these little white ones, on the die you get several on the one die. I think it cuts 3 out. Where's the die? I'll show you. Oh no, it cuts 6 out. No, it cuts 3 out. There's 2 dies that each cut 3 out at once, which is really nice. Okay, I want those to kind of, there we go. I wanted them to kind of overlap. So cute. Okay, so now then, I've got this one, and let me grab, I had a leftover blue one. I'm going to put those on the inside, and it doesn't matter that the blue one doesn't have a middle because I'm going to overlap them. So no worries with that. So that decorates up the inside. So cute. All right, let's get this on. I am putting a little bit of extra adhesive just because of this being watercolor paper. And we will get this on here. There's our little bit of that darling duckling showing. I love that. Okay, now for our paintbrushes. I'm reading what you're saying, Nancy. Thank you. I know, the idea, it's so cute. All right. So this just has to fit on the card, so let me start with the handle up here so I can make sure I'm keeping it on the card. And yes, it's going to go over the design a little bit because it's painting them on. Okay. And what I found with my first card is that I didn't allow enough room. It all came out fine in the end. It just covered up a little bit more than I wanted it to, but that was my learning experience with this card. Okay, we're gonna bring this at an angle, but let me, there we go. So you could do this like in a slimline card too and have way more real estate to work with that way if you wanted to, but I'm fine with how it turns out. So we'll get that one up there like so. So there's that, and then I've got these 25 to 27 in color flat pearls. They're iridescent, they're really pretty. And so I'm going to use the strawberry slush one on our strawberry. And Darling Duckling. Or wait a minute, do I want Darling Duckling? Yeah, I'm going to do Darling Duckling. Cute. And then this one, we don't have the lavender, but we do have this color, which is that's Secret Sea. This is the color that didn't, is this the color that didn't work? No, Secret Sea, I don't remember. We're using this color. It's got enough of the lavender in it that it works out just fine. It kind of gives the combination of the lavender and, or the Highland Heather and the Misty Moonlight. So that is our card, you guys. Hello, friend, sending you a floral hug. I just think it's so cute. I am going to take my Wink of Stella and I'm going to sparkle up the middles of these little flowers. And I'm sure you probably can't see it because the sparkle never shows up very good on camera. But we will all know it's there. There we go. So cute. And here is my first one. So I did the Highland Heather card base on it. And the flowers are arranged sort of the same, not exactly the same. And then I didn't put a greeting in there. I did put the little flowers, but that way I can put whatever. But this one just really needed the sending you a floral hug. I thought that was so cute. Okay, so we've still got a few minutes, even with my little 2-minute break. We are not at a full hour yet, but so we have time for story time. And I'm going to set these up because my book is so big. And I don't want to get anything on it because it's such a pretty book. Okay, Fairyopolis. And where did we leave off? I only did a couple of pages because there's so much. All right, let's see what we have going on here. Does this flip up? No. So there's nothing interactive on this page. It's dated the 11th of May. This over here says, Interesting Library Books, The Fairies of the British Isles by C.W. Tinbright, Encounters with Fairy Folk and Other Supernatural Creatures by Mary MacDonald. And it says, a wild flowering plant, sprays of fragrant bell-shaped white flowers open in late spring. And I think that's referring to this. It grows to 9 inches and spreads 12 inches. So this is a, if you missed out last week when I started this book, it is a, like a journal sort of idea. Yeah, a journal, like a garden journal, I guess, and fairies. The days have passed quickly. I have been sketching and writing nearly every day. However, by far the most important thing to report is the occurrence of an inexplicable incident. Yesterday, while taking my afternoon rest, I heard the sound of singing, and what a sound it was, like the tinkling of tiny magical bells. The sound was entrancing, and it appeared to be coming from the end of Edith's garden. I crept down to the garden's end, but as I neared the site, the singing abruptly stopped. There was no one and nothing to be seen. Apart from a luxuriant patch of lilies of the valley, which were so pretty I couldn't resist sketching one of them. The lily of the valley brings tidings of warmer weather and symbolizes the return of happiness. What or who could have sung this unearthly chorus? I began to sketch. A beautiful creature came into my head, the lily of the valley fairy. She tinkles her tiny white bells in harmony and calls the other fairies to sing. This morning I cycled to Starrington Library. I ventured into their folklore and myths section, and there were some very interesting books on the subject of the little folk. So that was a note that she wrote here. Gentle fairies, hush your singing. Can you hear my white bells ringing? Ringing as from far away. Who can tell me what they say? And this is some kind of library thing. And there's a note below that that says, I have put together this small book containing salient pieces of information. A field guide to fairies. Fairies are called by different names in different places. And so we've got fairy spelled one way, and then fae, and then fae spelled F-A-Y, and fae spelled F-E-Y, the little folk, and the good people. Additionally, there is a whole variety of other supernatural beings that are generally classified as fairies. For example, elves, pixies, brownies, and hobgoblins. The main types of fairies are these three: flower fairies, beautiful creatures that embody the spirit of a flower, shrub, or tree. They are found wherever plants and flowers grow. Elves, merry creatures who live in colonies under the earth. They love parties, music, and dancing, and are known for making mischief. And pixies, playful elfin creatures. England's West Country is famous for its helpful but mischievous pixies, or piskies as they are known in Cornwall. They occasionally mislead travelers. Goblins, small grotesque creatures that like to make trouble for human beings. Hobgoblins, however, have a similar disposition to brownies, being friendly and good-humored and fond of practical jokes. Brownies, helpful little men who sometimes assist with household chores. They have been said to visit farms in Scotland and get tasks done while the family sleeps. Could you send some brownies my way, please? Dwarves are the miners of the mountains. They never appear above ground during daylight hours because they will turn to stone. Gnomes are little bearded men who guard hidden treasures in the woods and hills where they live. Leprechauns are clever Irish fairies who wear three-cornered hats. Every leprechaun has its hidden pot of gold. So that is that. We will stop at those 2 pages and go on to the next 2 next time. This is all just in good fun, you guys. I do have my share of fairy stamps, though, I have to say. All right, there are the painted flowers cards. I just think they turn out so fun and pretty. I hope you guys have enjoyed this and might give this a try yourself. And thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.